Hello guys, my name is Lazaro and today we're going to be going over a medium LeetCode problem. This problem is called simplify path. Given a string path, which is an absolute path starting with slash, / to a file or directory in a Unix style file system, convert it to the simplified path, canonical path. In a Unix style file system, a period refers to the current directory, a double period refers to the directory upper level, and any multiple consecutive slashes are treated as a single slash. For this problem, any other format of periods such as period are treated as file/directory names. All right, so this kind of lays out a couple of rules that we're going to be using to solve this question. The canonical path should have the following format. The path starts with a single slash, okay, perfect, and any two directories are separated by a single slash. So it's going to start with a slash, and if there's two directories, they're going to be separated by a slash, or there's going to be a slash between them. The path does not end with a trailing slash. The path only contains the directories on the path from the root directory to the target file or directory, i.e. no period or double period. So if we see a period, we have to remove that. If we see a double period, we have to go up that directory level. Return the simplified canonical path. All right, so we read the problem. Now let's look at a couple of examples. So right here, our path is just home, and our output is just /home. So given /home/, we return /home, and that's because they don't want it to end with a slash. And we know that because they said it right here. It's one of the following formats. The path does not end with a trailing slash. So now given /period/, we only return slash because what those two periods do is it moves up a directory level. Right here. So basically, the slash is just moving up one directory level, and we go back to just the slash. Now here for /home//home/, any consecutive slashes is just treated as one. As you can see here. Any multiple consecutive slashes are treated as a single slash. So that's something we need to take care of. And of course, our output /home/foo does not end with a slash because that's another one of the formats. Right here. Now let's look at the most complex example, /a/b/period/period/period/c/. And then the output is just /c. So what is this doing? So we're currently in the directory A, and then once we see this period, as we read in the problem, in the description of the problem, a period refers to the current directory. So it doesn't really do much, doesn't change anything. We're still in A. But now we change from A to B, and then there's two periods, it moves us up a directory. So now we go from A to B to just A, because that's what the period does. It basically it removes the last directory. So once we're up here, we're only at A. And now we see another two periods. So since we're just at /A, those two periods is going to take us out of /A, and it's going to put us in just slash. And then finally we see C. So we're going to be going from just slash to /C. And of course, we don't output, or we don't have a trailing slash in our output, which is why our answer is just /C. All right, now that we went over the examples and we see how they tie to the formats and to the rules of a Unix style file system, let's look at how we can actually solve this question. Let's look at the intuition first. So this is our path. This is the path we'll be working on, for example. We know that we're going to be working with directories, and they're all going to have these slashes. So knowing that, we should just split this string by slashes. That way, since we know that there's always going to be a slash, and there's always going to be a slash between directories, we can just later on join our directories by slashes. So right now, let's just disregard the slashes and split the string by the slash. So we can only care about the directory names, or if there's two periods, or if there's a single period. So if we were to do path dot split, and we were to split it by slash, we will get an array that will contain the string home, the string A or the character A, the string two periods, an empty string. The reason why we have an empty string is because there's two slashes right here. And we're only splitting it by one. So it's going to take care of this extra slash by just putting in an empty string. But we'll work around this later. So empty string, and then finally a period. This is what path.split by slash will give us. This array contains directories, double periods, empty spaces, or empty strings, and then a single period. Now from this, we can iterate through this array and work our way through this directory, how the path would want us to do. We could actually do this extremely simple. We know that the first directory is home. So now we finished home, and now we're on the second element in this array, which is A. It's another directory. So now we know that we move from home to A, and we looked at that. Now we're on the third element in this array, and we see two dots. Two dots was part of the rules. So let's write over here our rules that we can keep in mind. If we see two dots, move up in directory. So if we see two dots, what we want to do is move up a directory. Now, another rule is for a single dot, which we'll see later on. This means that we want to stay in the current directory. And then if we see any amount of slashes that's more than one, but here I'm just going to write as an empty string because that's how we're going to see in our array, what we want to do is ignore it. Because if we see more than just one slash, we want to treat it as just a slash. And if we were to treat this two slashes as just a single slash, and then we were to call split on this new string, where instead of having two slashes, it only has one, this empty string wouldn't even be there. It will be two dots and then a single dot. So that's why we can just ignore it. Perfect. So now we're on the third element. Two dots. What do we want to do? Well, our rules says that we want to move up a directory. By moving up a directory, we want to get ourselves out of A and go back to home. So now we can, from A, since there's two dots, from A we go to home. And then we just did that. Now, we're at the fourth element. It's an empty string, and from our rules, we know to just ignore it. So we finish with that one. We don't do anything. And now, with a single period, what we want to do is stay in the current directory. So let's not move from home. Let's stay at home. And then we're done with that. And home here would actually be the correct answer. because this 2 dots will get rid of A, and then the 1 dot would stay where we're currently at home. So to make sure this works, let's actually do it with an example. Let me first expand my canvas. Let's do it with the example that we saw in the problem and see if our logic works. Let's say our new path. Let's say our new path is, I'll do the fourth example here. It's /A/ period there we go, /B/ 2 periods /2 periods /C/ done. Now also, so we can just keep this in mind, let me bring over our rules. Oops. Let me bring it over here. And then we can keep in mind we don't have to go shifting up and down. So now let's call path dot split. We're going to split it by slashes. This will give us the array A, directory A, period, directory B, move up a directory, 2 periods, 2 periods, and then C. So now let's move through this. Let's move through this array and see, by going off of our rules, what the output would be. So we're currently at A. So that's fine. That's just a directory. So we move on A. And now we go to our second element, which is a period. It is stating current directory. So we don't move anywhere. We stay at A. So that's done. Now we're at B. It's another directory, so we move directly to it. That one's done. And now our fourth element is 2 dots. 2 dots means to move up a directory. So we go from B to the one before it. And just to give you a hint at what data structure we'll be using is we go from B, we basically remove B, so we pop B, and now we're at A. But I'll talk about that later. That was just a little hint. So since we're at the 2 dots and we want to remove or move up a directory, we go from B to A. Then we see another 2 dots, move up another directory. We go from A to nothing. Let me just write these strings so that nothing is clear. To nothing. And then we're at C, which is an actual directory. So we move from nothing to C. And then we finish here. Since we left off here and they always start with a slash, what we want to do is slash plus our answer, which is C, which will give us slash C, and it's indeed the correct answer, as you guys can see right here. So that's the intuition. We know we have to split it by the slashes because we know that's basically something we can disregard and later on just add the slashes to the directories. We also know how to handle 2 dots and how to handle a single dot, aka moving up a directory or staying in the current directory. We also know how to handle multiple slashes, consecutive slashes. We know how to handle them, those are horrible. We know how to handle them as just 1 slash. And of course, we know how to handle a regular directory. and we know how to move from directories and how to go back a directory if we see two dots, or to stay in the current one if we see one. So this is the intuition behind this problem. Now let's actually write it out. Let's actually write this code out. So we are given a path. Let me actually write out, this is the first time I'm doing this, let me actually write out the function, or, oh, this is in the class, so the method. All right, so first time writing out the whole method, so you guys know where I'm getting path from. You know what, this is a little more like a function than anything, but it's fine. So let's say we have the simplified path function. We're given a path which is, for example, could be equal to /a/b/c. It could be equal to that. Now, this path, what we want to do is, remember, let's reinitialize it to the string itself splitted by slashes. Now right here I'm writing pseudocode. Might look a little bit like Python, but pretty much the same thing. But it should be easy enough for you to transfer to your own language, to your preferred language. So now that we splitted the path string by slashes, we now want to handle this right here. When to move from one directory to another, when we should remove a directory. When we see these two dots, we want to remove the last directory we saw. So with that, since we're able to keep track of this, and then once we see the two dots, we want to pop the last one we were at, we know we have to use a stack. This stack would take care of our directories. And the value all the way at the end is the most recent directory that we entered. So now path, it changed from a string to an array of directories, or double periods, or single periods, or an empty string. Exactly how we had it here. It's going to look exactly like this. Now we want to iterate over this path. So for element in path, if the element is equal to two dots, then we want to handle that and remove the last directory of the stack. So now within this if block, we want another if block. We want to check if stack. So if the stack is not empty, let's pop. Now the reason I guess you could add this into this if statement, but let's just write it like this. So now let's say what if it's not two dots? Well, else if element does not equal, if it does not equal an empty string, and element, if it does not equal a single dot, then we want to add to our stack. Now, why do we not want a empty string? Well, when we see an empty string, it's because there were consecutive slashes, like right here in this empty string. And we don't want to add that. We want to ignore that. The same goes for this check right here. If element does not equal a single dot. That's because if it's equal to a single dot, then we want to stay in the current directory. We're not moving to any new directory. So if it's not an empty string and it's not a dot, that means we are going to move to a new directory and we should append it. And this is everything we need inside our for loop. At the end, all we want to do is just return. We want to add a forward slash in the beginning, and then we want to take our stack and join it with forward slashes. What this part of the code right here is going to do is basically, let's say our stack is A, B, C. Let's say this was our stack. Calling join on this, and let's do that. Let's do this, and then doing dot join on this S. It's going to give you, or it's going to return A / B / C. So it's going to put a forward slash in between each and every single one of these elements. And that's why we want to add this forward slash in the beginning. We want to do forward slash plus whatever this gives us. Because in the answers, they always want it to start off with a forward slash. So that's why we return it, calling join and doing that plus forward slash in the beginning. Other than that, this code is 100% done. So now let's make sure we get the right answer. So let's split our path by forward slashes. And then let's create our stack. Whoops, let me make sure you guys can see this. There we go. Now let's iterate over that array of directories or double periods or empty spaces or single period. Let's iterate over it. And if the element is equal to 2 periods, then we want to pop from the stack only if the stack is not empty. Else, if the element does not equal an empty string and the element is not a single dot, then that means we're about to change directory. We're about to move to another directory. So let's add that new directory to our stack. And then finally, let's return our stack. Let's return our string, but let's first join our stack with forward slashes between every single element inside of the stack. And then let's also add a forward slash in the beginning. So let's now run this code, see if this works. It does. Submit it. See if it accepts it, and it does. Perfect. Real quick is that I went ahead and added this if statement right here and combined these two to put them in one, which is why here I have if element does not equal period and stack. So I basically just moved this if statement into the one before it, and just added an and. But something I want to show you guys is you could do that, but you want to watch out for an edge case. If you do and stack and you leave this else if how it is, you will get the wrong answer, because since it is 2 periods and the stack is empty, it would automatically move to this else if. and then it would actually add the two dots. So if you do want to add these two, if statements together, you also need to modify your else if. And you want to modify it by checking if element does not equal period. If that's the case, then it should work. Let me run this code. Perfect. So it gets accepted here. Now it's submitted, and it gets accepted here as well. So that's just something I wanted to point it out. I actually went ahead and tried it. I didn't think about the edge case, but it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So yeah, we just solved the question. Pretty simple. We solved it in two ways, which are extremely similar to one another, but either way it works. I personally prefer the one with the nested if. Number one is, since it's just a small if, you can have it on the same line, and this else if doesn't have to get so big. But yeah, that's the end of this video. If you guys did enjoy, then please leave a like and subscribe. We send out daily advanced and beginner problems. This was one of our advanced problems in our Discord channel. So if you're interested in that, then please join down below. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the video and you have a good day. Thank you for watching.